The 18,650 lithium cobalt oxide cell. These 18,650 cells, hidden inside every power tool battery pack, have created a billion-dollar black market that's funding organized crime rings across America. What started as simple tool theft has evolved into something far more sophisticated, a shadow economy built around extracting these tiny powerhouses and selling them to unsuspecting consumers who have no idea they're buying stolen goods. The numbers tell a shocking story. According to the National Retail Federation, construction companies lose between $300 million and $1 billion annually to equipment theft. In London alone, £17.5 million worth of tools vanished in 2020, which means £57,000 stolen every single day. But here's the kicker. Only 1% of these stolen tools are ever recovered. What happens to the other 99%? They disappear into a sophisticated network that most people never see coming. At the heart of this criminal ecosystem sits an unassuming cylindrical battery, the 18,650 cell. Named for its dimensions of 18 millimeters in diameter and 65 millimeters in height, this little powerhouse has become the currency of the modern black market. These cells power everything from laptops to electric vehicles to the cordless drill sitting in your garage right now. With over 1.2 billion cells shipped globally by manufacturers like Panasonic, LG Chem, and Samsung in 2023 alone, power tools account for nearly 30% of that massive volume. The economics are irresistible to thieves. 20 years ago, a single 18,650 cell with 1,500 milliamp hours cost $10 to manufacture. Today, you can get a 3,000 milliamp hour cell for just $2 to make, but they retail for $5 to $10 each. When a Milwaukee M18 battery pack contains 6 of these cells, you're looking at $60 worth of components that can be easily extracted and resold. Multiply that across the thousands of tools stolen every day, and you start to understand the scale. This isn't just petty theft anymore. We're talking about organized crime operations that would make any corporate CEO jealous of their efficiency. Take the Florida ring busted in 2024, which systematically stole $1.5 million worth of power tools and batteries from Home Depot and Lowe's stores. Or consider the California operation, where prosecutors charged 14 people for stealing $10 million in goods from 71 different stores. These aren't desperate individuals grabbing whatever they can. These are business operations. The sophistication is remarkable. According to investigators, one theft crew met every morning at 5:30 a.m. in a parking lot to plan their daily hits. Using inventory information available on Home Depot's own website, the leader would choose exactly which items to steal and how many. Crew members entered stores separately, never interacting with each other, but stayed connected through earbuds on an active conference call. The leader would give real-time instructions on what to steal and whether anyone was watching. It's like a military operation, except instead of capturing territory, they're harvesting batteries. Home Depot executive Scott Glenn puts it bluntly. Organized retail crime is what he calls theft for greed, not theft for need. And the greed runs deep. These operations specifically target powered hand tools over non-powered ones, making them 10% more likely to steal that cordless impact driver than the manual screwdriver sitting right next to it. Why? Because those battery packs are pure gold. Once stolen, the tools don't just disappear into thin air. They feed into a complex supply chain that rivals any legitimate business. Drug addicts get hired to do the actual stealing, expendable foot soldiers who get paid a fraction of what the tools are worth. The stolen merchandise then flows to fencing operations, where criminals knowingly buy stolen goods and resell them for massive profits. Some of these stolen items end up at flea markets in Oakland and San Jose, sold to unsuspecting customers who think they're getting a great deal. But here's where it gets really interesting and dangerous. A growing underground of DIY enthusiasts has figured out how to extract those valuable 18,650 cells from dead laptop batteries and stolen tool packs. As battery expert Dejan Gakovic from UL Solutions explains, there's a whole black market. Go on YouTube and you'll find tutorials on how to build your own battery. The process isn't rocket science. Like most lithium-ion battery packs, the cells are connected via spot-welded metal strips. Extracting them requires unsoldering the sensing wires and cutting the strips. The tricky part is that these strips are spot-welded because soldering to battery terminals isn't just difficult, it's dangerous. You need to heat up a lot of metal, and the cell itself isn't meant to handle that much heat. Damage the cell, and you've got a potential firebomb on your hands. That's exactly what's happening. Through April 2024, New York City alone recorded 735 e-bike battery fires, resulting in 447 injuries and 29 deaths. The numbers are staggering. Fires jumped from 22 in 2020 to 216 by the end of 2022. These fires occur through a process called thermal runaway, where one damaged cell overheats and triggers a chain reaction. These aren't just statistics. These are real people, often delivery workers who depend on e-bikes for their livelihood, facing impossible choices between financial stability and personal safety. The counterfeit problem makes everything worse. Susan Oringa from the Power Tool Institute warns that when these batteries are misused, or lower quality aftermarket and counterfeit batteries are used in place of original manufacturer batteries, the high-density energy that makes these batteries so efficient can result in dangerous burns, fires, or explosions. Without proper UL 2849 certification, these batteries bypass critical safety standards. The most counterfeited cell, the Samsung 30Q. Fake versions flood online marketplaces, often completely 3D printed with exaggerated specifications. Many used batteries get rewrapped as new and white-labeled. The generic batteries you find on places like Amazon aren't just unsafe. They don't even contain the advertised capacity. And here's a dirty little secret. There are 0 authorized Milwaukee tool dealers on Amazon. Milwaukee doesn't sell to Amazon directly, which means every Milwaukee battery you see there is either counterfeit, stolen, or being sold by an unauthorized reseller. The industry has fought back with increasingly sophisticated anti-theft measures. DeWalt and Milwaukee introduced Bluetooth-enabled batteries in 2015 that can track location and disable stolen tools. Home Depot now uses tool activation locks that render power tools useless until they're legitimately purchased. Lowe's unveiled Project Unlock using RFID chips and blockchain technology to verify purchases and track legitimate ownership. But criminals adapt. Some battery packs now include kill chips that permanently disable the pack after detecting problems or imbalanced charging. This creates tension between safety advocates and right-to-repair proponents who want to rebuild their own batteries. Where does legitimate repair end and criminal activity begin? The human cost extends far beyond the corporate losses. Delivery drivers, many of them immigrants working multiple jobs, bear the brunt of the battery fire crisis. They're forced into impossible situations, charging potentially dangerous batteries in cramped apartments because they can't afford safer alternatives. These workers face what one report called a choice between financial stability and personal safety. Law enforcement is taking notice. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel describes the pattern. Multiple theft perpetrators, brazen daytime thefts, turning merchandise over to a single operator who then sells the loot for profit. The FBI has issued formal alerts about counterfeit battery scams. Congress is considering the Combating Organized Retail Crime Act and the Setting Consumer Standards for Lithium-Ion Batteries Act. New York City has implemented the nation's first municipal trade-in program for unsafe electric bikes, allowing delivery workers to replace dangerous devices with certified equipment. Early results show promise, with battery fires and fatalities dropping compared to the previous year. But the fundamental problem remains. As long as there's demand for cheap power tools and replacement batteries, and as long as those tiny 18,650 cells remain valuable and easily extracted, this shadow economy will continue to thrive. The next time you see a deal that seems too good to be true on a power tool battery, remember, you might be looking at the end result of a sophisticated criminal enterprise that's putting lives at risk while funding organized crime. The 18,650 Thieves revolution promised to power our modern world. Instead, it's also powered a black market that's more dangerous and more profitable than most people ever imagined.